Welcome back, everybody. This is David Shepard on the Good Shepherd Sports YouTube channel. Congratulations to Steph Curry, the all-time leader in three-pointers made, eclipsing Ray Allen's three-point career mark of 2,973 made threes. It was an amazing sight to see as Ray Allen was there, Reggie Miller was there. Reggie Miller is third all-time in career made threes. Ray Allen now is second all-time in career made threes. This is a record, by the way, and this is what's so exciting about this. Steph Curry will become the first player in NBA history to eclipse 3,000 made threes. He will then become the first player in NBA history to surpass 4,000 made threes. And I believe, when it's all said and done, he will jump the 5,000 career three-pointers made mark. This is going to be a Babe Ruth-esque, Will Chamberlain-esque, Wayne Gretzky-esque type of record. It is a mark, when it's all said and done, in terms of the made threes by Steph Curry, that will not be surpassed in our lifetime, in my lifetime, and more than likely you watching at home, you watching this YouTube channel, in your lifetime as well. And here's why. Steph Curry is a great shooter. Well, he's a great player, but he is an all-time great shooter. Reggie Miller, an all-time great shooter. Ray Allen, an all-time great shooter. Shooting is the last thing to go. Shooting is based on muscle memory and repetition and practice. It's not like dunking, where athleticism can erode and rescind your ability to get to the basket, to accelerate, to jump over two players at a time, a la Vince Carter. Shooting's the last to go. And so because of that, we saw Ray Allen and Reggie Miller have their prime extend until year 16. We saw Reggie Miller and Ray Allen play until year 18 and were very effective, by the way, in year 17 and year 18. Well, if you look at modern technology, modern medicine, the way that athletes have around-the-clock treatment, more so in 2021 than they did when Ray played in the early 2010s, 2000s, and especially when Reggie played in the early 2000s, 1990s, late 80s. It's nothing compared to what it is today. And so because of that, and if you look at Steph Curry's dedication and work ethic and the amount of time he puts into his body and his preparation, well, if Reggie and Ray were great until year 16 and really good in year 17 and year 18, you don't think Steph Curry is going to have the same consistency, productivity, efficiency, longevity? Of course he is. Steph Curry can very well play until year 19, year 20. And if you look at his numbers, he is not slowing down whatsoever. He's still making between 4 threes and 5 threes per game. So if you average that out, and Steph Curry, by the way, and I understand he had the hand, situation 2 years ago, and he had the ankle and the foot issues early on in his career. But other than that, he's remained relatively healthy. So it is very likely that he's putting up between 350 and 400 threes for the next 4 or 5 seasons. And then year 17 and 18, Steph Curry can very much be it's very likely he could be putting up 250, 300 made threes. If you total that up, that's knocking on the door of 5,000 made threes. That's incredulous to say out loud when you consider the fact that no one else in NBA history has gone over the 3,000 three-pointers made mark, but Steph Curry will likely come close to 5,000. There's no greater green light in the history of the NBA than Steph Curry. He is revered by that franchise, by the West Coast. He's not leaving Golden State anytime soon. He'll never leave Golden State. So he's going to continue to shoot whenever he wants, whenever he so chooses. It's not the same green light that Reggie or Ray had. So because of that, expect him to be able to play until year 17, year 18, year 19, just for the sheer fun of it. Not to mention the fact that look at the depth that the Warriors bench has. Gary Payton II, Jordan Poole, Damian Lee. I mean, they have amazing young players. That's going to extend Steph Curry's career to a large degree. Because Reggie, he didn't have the depth. Ray Allen, he didn't have the depth that Steph Curry has going into ultimately the twilight of his career in probably 6-7 years from now. So Steph Curry, it's equivalent to any player scoring nearly 60,000 career points. That's what Steph is going to do with this three-point record. Now, you may be saying, well, Shep, what about, Damian Lillard, James Harden? What about Paul George, Klay Thompson, Steph's quote-unquote competition? Well, let's take Harden and Dame for 1 second. They're both younger than Steph. Their three-point numbers, they're taking a step back. They're regressing significantly. If you look at what they did 2 years ago to what they're doing today, the rules have changed. It has inhibited and mitigated an offensive player's ability to draw fouls. Steph Curry, that hasn't impacted him at all. It has greatly impacted Damian Lillard and James Harden. These guys were averaging 30 a game for like the last 2-3 seasons. They were third and fourth and second in scoring each and every year for the last 2-3 years. They're not even in the top 20. So their games have taken a hit. Look at Paul George and Klay Thompson. Paul George will have to play for another 5 years and have career years just to match Steph Curry, and that's if Steph Curry retired. So that ain't happening. Klay Thompson, unfortunately, being out for 2.5 years now, he's got to have 5 more seasons of ultimately Klay Thompson productivity just to match what Steph Curry has done to this point. That's not happening. So when you consider the fact that Steph's peers are not close to what Steph is at this point in terms of career three-pointers made, and they're regressing, if anything, and Steph Curry's numbers, they haven't waned at all. We're talking about a guy that has put in the time in terms of preparing his body for years 13 and after. You see the bulk that he's put on his body, the muscle that he's been able to add. You see the skill set that he has been able to augment as well, shooting off the dribble. It's the mark of any great player, any all-time great athlete. Every single year they come back with something new, a twist, something that allows their game to speak for itself in terms of being that much more skilled, that much more diversified, that much more esoteric. We saw it with MJ, we see it with LeBron, we see it with Steph. Every single year, he comes back a little better. And it's remarkable when you consider the fact that he's in year 13. But look at LeBron. And I know LeBron's had some setbacks, but his game is much more so predicated on athleticism and acceleration and explosiveness. Productivity-wise, when he's on the court, because of the way that he takes care of his body, he's still very much a top 2-3 player in the world. He's in year 19. Why can't Steph be doing the same until year 19 when he's strictly a shooter? And LeBron James, his game is more predicated on getting buckets and driving to the basket. Again, this is a mark that Steph Curry will ultimately have when it's all said and done that will not be attained by any other player in our lifetime. It was a tremendous scene at MSG in terms of seeing Reggie and Ray pay their respect, show their admiration, show their reverence to Steph Curry. But we're not going to see anything like that again because there's no one that we know that we can anticipate that's ever going to break Steph Curry's record. So it was an amazing night at MSG, the Mecca. It was incredulous to see this record broken so soon, but that will not be the case moving forward because this is a record that, again, will not be broken, will not be surpassed, will not be matched in our lifetime. So congratulations to the King. I'm not talking about you, LeBron. I'm talking about the great Steph Curry. With all that being said, that's not what I'm going to remember when it comes to the year 2021 when I think about sports. I'm going to get to that in my next video. But before I do, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to put my fingers down here and a subscribe button is going to come up. I'm almost certain of that. But in all seriousness, make sure you subscribe, like the video if you got something from it. And as always, really appreciate you taking the time to watch. Again, the next video is going to be what stood out in sports in 2021. And it's not involving an athlete that's active. You're going to want to make sure you stay tuned for the next video. And in the meantime, hope everyone has a wonderful holiday. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day, everybody.